NASA opened the decade of the 90s by placing the Hubble Space Telescope into orbit. It would peer farther into space and further back in time than any other telescope. And in the closing decade of the 20th century, Hubble and a host of other robotic explorers would provide astonishing new views and perspectives.
Everybody was up. We were off to discover the secrets of the universe. It was great. And then things started to be sort of scratch your head. Why is it taking so long? Why can't we focus the telescope? What's going on? What was wrong with Hubble is kind of the same thing that's wrong with your eyes when you need glasses. Basically, the shape of the lens was wrong. So in essence, the telescope was nearsighted and it needed some glasses. I was taking a shower in the hotel in Germany, and they have these really funny shower heads where the shower head will kind of move up and down and back and forth, and that's when it dawned on me. We can have this instrument robotically raise up the corrective lens, flip out, if you will, just like that shower head, these other corrective optics to correct the aberration for all the instruments. All of the work leading up to the first servicing mission is probably the most exciting time of my career.
The NASA program changed the nature of astronomy. We made some extravagant promises on Hubble. We undersold the program. Whatever we said, Hubble did better, I think. It really changed the nature of what we know.
Hubble is one of the most phenomenal things we've ever done in space. Data that we get from Hubble will continue to change the way we think about ourselves, about the universe, and our place in it. You know, the pictures from Hubble are iconic. You see them everywhere. The fingers of God. This is the gas pillars that are actually many, many, many light years across. So the scale of these things is enormous. And you're actually seeing the birth of stars. It's a star nursery. It starts to give you a sense of how small we are and how vast the universe is. And that's my favorite picture.
NASA, especially Goddard, was the place where I could carry out the dreams that I had, which were to push forward an experiment that would measure the Big Bang radiation better than anyone had ever tried before, and took on the job of working on COBE. For many decades, people didn't agree with the Big Bang theory. They thought something else must be true. Generations of astronomers thought it must have been the steady state theory. Einstein didn't like the idea. So when we got the measurements that fit exactly on the theoretical prediction for the Big Bang, this tremendous sigh of relief went through the world as well. Our measurement of the hot and cold spots in the Big Bang radiation, which show us not only is the Big Bang theory right, but also it gives us the map of the seeds of the structure, the things that will eventually grow into galaxies.
The Galileo probe, which sent its spacecraft into the atmosphere of Jupiter, was the most demanding entry probe ever flown by anyone, and it worked perfectly.
Europa and some of the other satellites where there seems to be accumulating evidence for water are getting to be very, very interesting places for exploring. I mean, who knows what's under the ice surface on Europa? You've got water. Looks like there's salt water. You wouldn't have water if you didn't have a source of energy. The odd coloration gives some hint of the presence of organics. When those conditions held on the early Earth, life developed in a couple of 100 million years. Well, maybe there's something interesting on Europa.
I'll tell you, there is nothing as beautiful as Chandra sailing off on its way to work.
Nowadays, we're discovering what is the universe really like, and it's totally magnificent. And one can only be inspired and awestruck by what we find. So I think a proper response is complete amazement and awe at the universe that we're in. How it works is just far more complicated than humans will ever properly understand.
Houston, Atlantis, we have capture.
Mir was a successor to the early Salyut space stations that the Russians built back in the 70s.
Well, I was extremely fortunate that I was able to be part of the Shuttle Mir program. So obviously